So Norm, for the last few years, you've been really interested in the relationship between ability and opportunity. And I just wondered if you could say something about that.
Sure. If you look at a lot of the programs that have been set up for people with disabilities, whether they be segregated special ed programs, life skill programs, day programs, vocational preparation programs, etc. All those programs have a pervasive fundamental assumption that I believe is wrong. All of those programs have been set up on the premise that what you do is you first work on skills, you help the disabled person learn certain skills, and the acquisition of those skills will enable that person to move into the community.
Right.
So one way of thinking about this is what we've done is we see ability as coming before opportunity. You do ability first, and then the person has the skills to make use of that opportunity to move in the community.
So when you say you do ability, you mean the process of teaching those skills, readiness programs, that kind of...
The ability to communicate, the ability to use money, any type
life skills?
Any type of skill can be seen as a specific ability. Now, if this is the principle that is the foundation for all the programs for people with disabilities, does it in fact work? And so I started going around to visit segregated life skills programs and other programs, and I saw the same thing over and over and over. I saw caring, well-committed staff working their hearts out, trying to help individuals learn these skills, but in the immortal words of Jerry Lee Lewis, there wasn't a whole lot of learning going on. So I started to ask myself, why aren't these students or individuals learning these skills? Well, most people, including myself, assume that this is because these individuals have such significant disabilities that they're unable or it's very difficult for them to learn these skills. But when I really thought about that, I realized that couldn't be true. Because even a lot of the people with very significant disabilities were learning this stuff. Teachers weren't teaching them really quickly. For example, if you take 5 individuals, each having a strange behavior, put them in a room together, in 3 months you get 5 people with 5 strange behaviors. So even those individuals with significant disabilities were learning the stuff we didn't want them to learn, but they weren't learning the stuff we're trying to teach them. So that made me ask, why is it that people with significant disabilities aren't learning what we're trying to teach them? And what I realized is that it had a lot to do with the relationship between ability and opportunity. And I have numerous examples of how a presumption that we need to focus on ability first is absurd.
Can you give us a few?
Yeah, I'll give you my favorite one. My favorite example of how we get trapped in this ability opportunity pitfall has to do with communication. In Toronto, where I grew up, like any large urban center, they have many kids with significant cerebral palsy, such that they can talk. So, as you might expect, the primary educational goal for these students is to teach them how to talk. So what they do, and they still do this to this day in Toronto, they take all these nonverbal kids from all over Toronto and put them in a class together. And then they call it a communication class. Now, we know the idea of putting a whole bunch of non-disabled students together in order to teach them how to talk not only violates every educational principle, it violates common sense.
So why do you think this happens? These are smart people. These are people with advanced degrees. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, I have a cynical answer. I have what I think is a more balanced answer. My cynical answer is segregation is easy. It's administratively convenient. You take all the disabled kids, you put them in one class together, you give them a teacher with a couple aides, and you forget about them. Alright, now they may not say that, but much of the rationale for segregated programs has to do with administrative convenience. But I think the other reason is that we unquestioningly accept the premise that we need to work on ability first and opportunity second. Now, this example with the communication class, it can be a humorous example, but if you think about it, it's actually quite tragic. Because there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of individuals with severe cerebral palsy who never get a fair chance to communicate because they are not given the opportunity to be in an environment of language. Imagine going through your entire life without having the opportunity to learn how to communicate. So, I believe educators, human service workers, anyone who works with people with disabilities has a fundamental choice. Do you do what's easiest, or do you do what's best? You've already said that segregation is administratively convenient, but as you know, we have a general rule when it comes to segregation, and it is, you know, no matter how good of a swimming instructor you are,
you can't teach somebody how to swim in the parking lot of a swimming pool.
Right. And that's what we're doing. By removing people from the environment of language, we're trying to teach people, as it were, to talk without the opportunity to hear or, in fact, you know, be motivated to talk.
Right.
So if you're serious about doing the best thing, rather than what's convenient, then I think people have to seriously think about the relationship between ability and opportunity and switch it. Because I think what truly works is to ensure that people with disabilities have the opportunity to be in that environment where the skills make sense. And then that environment will be both the opportunity to witness those skills as well as the motivation to learn those skills. Now obviously people need support. It's like the example with the swimming pool. You don't throw the person in the water and say, kick your legs. You give the person swimming lessons, you help them learn to swim. But you can only learn to swim when you're in the water, in the swimming pool.
Yeah, when I think about some of the programs, the readiness programs and the life skill programs, we've been really naive and simplistic in the way that we think about this, because there are so many social cues out there in the world that you can't reproduce in some kind of a pre-packaged and staged program. So even when we teach those things, we don't find them useful later on.
Absolutely. You know, one way to think about this is to say life skills don't help people live in the community. Discretion helps people live in the community.
Oh, say more about that.
Learning to talk or learning to socialize with other people is a skill. We assume that once these individuals learn these skills, that will enable them to move into the community. But what really enables that individual to move around and live in the community is not the skill of talking, is the discretion to know when to use that skill.
Right.
David Hinsberg talks about the difference between concept and skill, and it's much the same thing. We get so focused on the individual specific skills, people don't get the opportunity to learn the judgment that needs to go along with those skills. And sometimes you simply cannot replicate these skills that naturally get taught in the environment.
I think what you're saying too is that maybe we never can, outside the context that it's going to be used in. It's meaningless.
Yes. The segregated environment undermines the person's opportunity to learn. The segregation undermines it, and the assistants or teachers or support workers' ability or effort or courage cannot make up for the damage that's caused by the segregation.
So even with the best of intentions, you're saying our efforts to teach people outside the context of the regular community is bound to fail.
It's like we said, no matter how good of a swimming instructor you are, you cannot teach someone to swim in the parking lot of a swimming pool.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether you really care for that person. It doesn't matter if you really want them to swim. It doesn't matter if you've been a swimming instructor for 20 years. The lack of water undermines your ability to teach that person to swim. And the same way, segregated environments undermine the teacher or the support workers' ability to help that person learn skills.